Howdy everybody, this is Carla, and this time I'm here to review the very first episode of the first season of the new ABC Family, or as it's called now, Freeform TV show Shadowhunters, which is based on the Mortal Instruments series of books by Cassandra Clare. And now, before I actually start reviewing this episode, I have to give a disclaimer, okay? I've been a fan of the Mortal Instruments. I am. I've read all the books, all six of them. And I like them. They're probably not the best, work of literature ever written. And I do think they're a bit cheesy and a bit, everything but the kitchen sink in there. But I do like them. I mean, for some reason, the characters I find them really lovable, and I get really into them. So I like them, and yeah, sure, it reads a little fan fiction at times, but I'm actually old enough. I really shouldn't be admitting this, but that's true. I'm actually old enough to have been around different fandoms when Cassie was actually writing fan fiction. So I've always liked her style. In a way, I think she makes her characters interesting. Even if she's not the best writer ever. So, I liked her fan fiction, so why wouldn't I like her books that actually read like fan fiction in a way? So, I've been a fan. When the first movie came out, which was the City of Bones movie, I liked the cast. I was all up for it. I knew that it wasn't going to be a big hit with everybody because it's not a terribly deep narrative or anything. It's not terribly complex. But I was expecting it to be good, and I actually did like the first half of it. I thought was really strong. The whole world building idea. I like the cast. I really thought I was going to enjoy it, and then somewhere on the second half, like the moment Valentine appears, it all just goes to hell. It's like the writers just stop trying, and so yeah. I mean, I'm sure many other fans as I were kind of disappointed about the movie, and it obviously didn't do well because their plans for a franchise just went off the deep end after that. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed when I heard that they were actually going to make it into a TV show. I was actually okay with it. I mean, we are talking about 6 books, so you have material to spare here, and if you really want to give the fans what they want without taking any key things out of it, and being able to actually give them as much of the original story as they want, then sure, it's a good thing. So I thought it was a good idea. When they started announcing the cast, I started getting really excited for it because I really liked this cast that they come up with. I liked Kat McNamara from Maze Runner, what little she was in it, but I thought she was good. And just seeing interviews of them, Matthew Daddario is probably the hottest person on the planet, maybe only second to his sister. So I thought, they were okay. I liked the chemistry they showed in interviews and stuff. So for a while, I actually started getting really excited about it. And then the first previews came out, and oh my god, those were terrible. They were. I cringed my way through the first 7 minutes that they showed, which was the whole pandemonium sequence. I cringed my way through that. It was so bad. I mean, the dialogue was terrible. The acting was so wooden that I didn't even. I can't even. So after that point, I kind of backed off. I mean, I was seriously convinced that the show was going to suck. I was going to watch it, but I was ready to just give up on it even before it premiered. Now that I've actually seen the episode, okay, that scene is still terrible, but I don't hate it. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It actually did become somewhat fun later on, which kind of has me side-eyeing really hard the marketing department at ABC Family, because why did you choose like the worst possible scene to show as a preview? That was terrible. That's terrible marketing. Why would you do that? The rest of the episode was actually okay. I mean, it is what it is. You can't expect, Game of Thrones levels of brilliance with this thing, but it was fun. I liked the cast. I mean, there are still some instances, some scenes, and some deliveries of lines that were just kind of like cringeworthy. So yeah, they have to work on that. But I can give them a pass right now because it's only the first episode, and I can kind of give them leeway to actually get better as they go. So I mean, there are things they have to make way better. Like that whole sequence in Pandemonium was terrible. It's still terrible. It's always going to be terrible. There were other scenes. I mean, the demon at Clary's house, the one that was Dot, looked really fake. Of course, this is TV, so I can't expect, huge, big budget demon-looking things. But it looked really fake, and the cinematography in that attack was kind of weird. I mean, for the most part, I would call the episode very uneven, if anything. It's like some scenes were okay, and then some scenes were really bad. It's like, really, because, for example, I spent, like, the entire first half or so of the episode just telling myself they really have to work on their choreography, because if they're selling, that was a big point of contention I had with the Pandemonium scene, that the fight choreography was terrible. I mean, they looked like they were posing instead of fighting. And it happened a couple more times as the thing went on. But then you get scenes like the Jocelyn scene. That was fantastic. That scene was fantastic. So it makes me wonder, like, why it's so uneven. Again, it's a pilot, so I can't expect greatness from it yet. I don't think that would be fair because they still have to catch their stride in a way. But yeah, it was very uneven. Again, Kat McNamara, some scenes she was really great. Some other scenes I was like, I'm not sure I quite believe what you're saying right here. Dom Sherwood as Jace, he has some work to do because he was the one, more than Kat, it was him, the one who, mostly at the beginning I was like, really, you're coming off very wooden for me, but then later on he did get a little bit better about it, so maybe I just wait and see what happens to him. The rest of the cast was pretty great. I love Alberto Rosende as Simon. I love Emerald Tabia as Isabel. Those two were fantastic, okay? Alberto was the one who was really, 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 really true to the character. Like, I actually believed everything that came out of his mouth, except for the ending of the episode. But other than that, he's really believable in the role. And Emerald is a hard character to portray because she may come off as a ditz or, someone who's self-absorbed, but there are layers to Izzy, and I think she straddles the line of, like, playful, but also, like, smart, like, she sees people and she understands what's going through their minds. I think she did that really well. I loved her interaction with Alec, Matthew Daddario. Like I said, I want to watch this show just so I can stare at him creepily once a week for an hour. So, yes, I am a creep, but he's so pretty. It's not my fault. But I loved his interaction with Isabel. I think they work really well together. And I think he's very Alec. He's a lot more Alec than Kevin Seegers was in the movie. Which, I mean, I love Kevin Seegers, but at the same time, he was very he had kind of a confidence that Alex shouldn't really have. And I think Matthew can portray that better. That kind of self-esteem kind of thing, issue that Alec usually has. I love Luke. I mean, Isaiah Mustafa is so hot. Again, I just love that. I'm shallow, so what? I really love him, and I think he can portray Luke really well. I said when he was cast that there's like a wisdom in his eyes that I like, that I didn't necessarily see in the movie. And Jocelyn was okay. She was a lot more badass than I expected her to be in the first episode, so that was cool. Things that didn't work. I mean, I almost want to complain about Harry Shum Jr. as Magnus, but I haven't really seen much of him, so I don't know if that will be fair. But I didn't think he did anything important in this episode, and I think his lines were kind of iffy. The dialogue they gave him. I mean, those were scenes that I thought didn't work. Like, again, I've said the whole pandemonium sequence, but especially when he's talking to the circle people, that didn't work. It did not work at all. I cringed. It was so bad. The flashback sequence was kind of weird. I mean, it was a weird placement. I wouldn't have placed it there. I would have waited. I don't know, because it took away all the suspense, you know? Because, I mean, you go into Pandemonium and you see Magnus staring at Claire, you already know why. It's like, why didn't you wait until, like, episode 3 to show us that? No, and just the scene itself was also kind of weird. But, I had fun, and of course, the last scene, point of contention, I liked it up until the point when Jace actually appeared and started talking to Clary, because that triangle thing, I mean, we all know there's going to be a triangle. I have read the books. I know where it's going. But it just, the way it was delivered, the camera shots, everything just was very Twilight-y, and I didn't like that. I think you have to separate yourself from Twilight right here, right now. And if you're going to do the love triangle, be subtle about it. Don't smash us over the head with it like you did in that scene. But before that, the whole scene where Clary's like screaming and Jace is killing the dude and Clary's screaming and Simon's like, what the hell is going on? I don't see anything. Why are you screaming? That was so funny. I enjoyed it. I mean, what can I say? Maybe I'm just a sucker for this kind of, stupid YA adaptations, but I liked it. It had its good points. And I think, as a fan, I think the changes they made from the book work. I mean, nothing I've seen yet is drastically changed, or I don't think they've destroyed anything by making those changes. I mean, Clary and Simon are older. I mean, all the young characters are older, for once, which I think it's okay because it takes out a lot of the pressure of why the hell is your kid just roaming the streets of New York after hours? What the hell is wrong with your parents? Kind of idea that I usually have when these YA properties kind of get adapted. Because it's like, yeah, if you're 16, you're going to be home, Missy, every freaking night. You're not just roaming around town with your buddies. So this time she's 18, she's an adult. They can do whatever the hell they want, so fine by me. Luke being a cop, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think it helps a lot more, though, because before Luke was a librarian, and that was cool because he got to wear glasses, and I like that, but apart from that, he didn't really do much of anything, like, okay, Luke did, but his profession didn't come into it at all. So I think him being a cop it makes more sense, and it also helps because, this is serialized. It's a TV show, it's a series, so it makes sense that they might treat it as a case of the day kind of idea. So I don't mind at all. The dot thing I thought made sense too, because frankly in the book Dorothea was kind of a little stereotypical, which I thought is not a good thing. It's almost borderline offensive, so I like that they changed her, and this time she seems, she was younger and she was more modern in a way, and she seems less of an old, voodoo tea leaf reader and more of a modern, occult enthusiast kind of woman. So I thought that was better. And Valentine was so good. Because in my head, kind of the entrance of Valentine into the movie was the point where the movie went off the rails. So I was really, really scared that when Valentine came into this episode, that it would go off the rails again. Because I don't think they've been able to peg Valentine yet. He's a complex character. He's not easy to peg, and he's very showy in a way. He's like this big ham. He's like all powerful and all, looking down on people from the top of his nose sort of thing. And I don't think the movie pegged that, because Jonathan Rhys-Meyers has played bad guys before, but he wasn't really the imposing type of bad guy. And I thought that was a bad thing they did in the movie. But Alan Sprang pulled it off. I mean, he looks less like he's trying to be evil and more like he's actually evil. So I like that. I look forward to seeing more of what they do with him, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that they don't destroy the character all over again, because he's really pivotal for this thing. Maureen being Simon's friend who sings with him and has a crush on him was fine. I mean, I like that she's not a little girl, because that would have been really weird, honestly. But I like it. Not much to comment about that. And yeah, I mean, again, there were scenes where I was cringing, and then there were scenes where I was actually having fun. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. I guess I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now, because I think it can get better. This is only the pilot, so it can get better. It can also get worse. So we'll see how things are in 5 episodes or so. But so far, I'm okay. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a better kind of honoring the fans than the movie was. So I think it's better for the fans overall that we've gotten it this way. And yeah, I mean, again, I just question why ABC Family would want to show the worst possible scenes of the episode when they had actually some things that were pretty good, Let me put it this way. This thing is not going to win any awards or anything, but it was fun. So, hey, I'll buy it. If I can watch Scorpion every week with their, willing stretching of science to the worst possible level, and I still like it, I can watch Shadowhunters. It's not that bad, and as long as they do justice to the characters, I'll be fine with it, because that's what draws me to the Mortal Instruments in the first place. So I'm good with it. I was expecting it to be way worse, so I'm actually feeling very good about it right now. And I know, a lot of people have been disparaging about it, because yes, it's not the greatest, most complex plot. It has its cliches, it has its bad dialogue, but it kind of embraces its own cheesiness in a way. So I like the book does. So to me that makes me feel better, because if that was why I like the book, then this is why I like the show. Hopefully, we'll see in a few more episodes. But for now, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. It was much better than the disaster I thought it was going to be. So what can I say? I'll watch another episode, and then we'll see how it goes. And that's about it for my review. I've been speaking about it for 20 minutes, but hey, it's the first episode, so give me some leeway here. I have a lot to talk about. But I'm done now. This is the end of the review. So, as usual, remember to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We have more reviews for other TV shows, books, movies, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to check it out. And if you guys want to be notified as soon as possible when we upload a new review, then you want to be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where the reviews go up first. Even before they hit the website, they go up on YouTube. So if you subscribe, you will be notified straight away when we upload them. And that's it from me. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye!